Ground reference maneuvers. There are three. There's the rectangle, which we is pretty much simulating a traffic pattern. There's the S-turns, and there's a turn on point. What the setup will be, it will be 1,500 feet above AGL, so we make sure are at or above that. The setup for the rectangle and S-turns are quite similar. Basically, we fly for the setup. We fly into the headwind if possible, and we do two 90-degree turns when we enter in the maneuver. So that will be our clearing turns. So we are entering the maneuver with a tailwind. So on the first turn for the S turn, we are coming with the tailwind. So the first 180 turn is gonna be the steepest one since we have a tailwind. So at the beginning it's gonna be a steeper turn, and by the time we are doing the 180 turn, we slowly decrease the roll. So and then we level off at the line that we pick. It could be a power line, a road, gas line, whichever we could find. And the wind should be level as we are on top of the line that we pick. Then we do the remaining 180. So this should be a headwind. So you should get with the roll, it's going to start shallow and it's going to start to get sharper, a sharper turn, and it should be level by the time we cross the line that we pick. That should be that. And for the rectangle, it will be should be entering at a 45-degree angle to simulate the pattern. Is pretty much the same since we're getting the tailwind from the back. The first 90-degree turn should be a pretty sharp turn. It should be a sharp and quick turn for the first 90. But we're gonna be grabbing a little bit into the wind since we don't want to be pushed down. So we're grabbing instead of going on a straight line. We're gonna grab into the wind a little bit. So we're grabbing up until our second turn, which we are on base. So technically we should turn this at the on the downwind or the down leg, since we are getting the headwind. So we should be straight up, and we fly us straight up ahead up until we're 45 degrees with the point behind us, similar to pattern. Then we turn 90 degrees to the base, should be the base, but with this time is the same as the cross leg. Instead of going straight up for the base, so we should be grabbing a little bit into the wind since we're getting a headwind. So we're grabbing up until then, and then we turn pass the 45-degree angle with the point that we pick for the rectangle point. We turn, and since we're getting a headwind, so we're going straight up, and then we exit at a 45-degree angle to the right. That will be, and what the setup for the turnaround point should be about the same. We should be going into the headwind. I will set up, and then we do 2 right turns. That will be for the clearing turns. With the altitude for all 3 maneuvers should be between 800 to 1,000 feet above AGL. As we're entering, okay, so we go into the headwind. We're doing 2 90-degree turns for the clearing turns, and we enter at the turning point that we pick. Should be turning to the first 180 degrees. It's going to be the sharpest or the steepest roll bank, and as we are about to do the first 180 degrees, our wind should start level, going back to level slowly up until the first 180 degrees. The second part of the 180 degrees, as we're getting a headwind, we start out the opposite, which shallow, and it gets sharper and steeper roll as we're going on the 180-degree turn. And then we exit as we do the 360-degree mark. We do compensate for the headwind, so we're kind of crabbing. We compensate with the degree, depending on if it is a tailwind or if it is a tailwind, we start up sharp, and then we slowly roll out. And if we're going into the headwind, we start shallow, and then we slowly do a sharper turn. So we do get a perfect circle as possible. If we don't compensate for the wind, and we just do a 30-degree bank the whole time, on the first 100-degree turn, we're actually going to be pushing down, and on the second 100 degrees, we'll actually be pushing down as well. So it's going to be kind of flat top, kind of a shallow flat top, and then it's going to be a long oval part at the bottom. So that will be ground reference maneuvers.